And the question that we've been asking ourselves is, well, why is that? Why is that number so low? And what can we do to generate products that are appropriate for this market? So if you think about what a local advertiser is looking for, he may be looking for, and this is kind of generic and there's loads of ways to pick holes in it, but he may be looking for greater brand awareness locally. He may be looking to be able to differentiate himself from his local competitors to prove why his Chinese takeaway is better than the next guy's Chinese takeaway. He may be looking for that thing that converts you from a potential purchaser to actually being a purchaser, so the search and find piece. Or he may actually be looking for incremental volume. So he may be looking for ways in which to incentivize customers that are on the cusp of interacting with his business to do so. So that may be vouchering, that may be local coupons, whatever it be. Interestingly, the two areas where SMEs feel extremely underserved in local markets is being able to differentiate themselves from their competitors, to be able to make a clear message to that local market, actually, this is why you should go to my Chinese takeaway and not the one down the road. And then similarly, how they create that instant response. So when they do have the 2-for-1 night on a Thursday, actually how do they drive awareness in the local community that they're doing that, and there is the opportunity for people to take their 2-for-1. And so what we want to do at Local People is to harness the absolute body of that community. So we aim to get 75% of all online people in any local community using our sites, and therefore are able to provide platforms by which local businesses can differentiate themselves from a competitive perspective and drive that kind of instant purchase, that incremental volume into their businesses. So that's kind of where we are, and I'll be happy to take some questions once we get on to the panel discussion.
Right. Good afternoon. It's good to see some familiar faces from around the globe today. But my name is Simon Greenman. I am Managing Director of Online for European Directories, and have been there for about 2.5 years. Prior to that, I spent about 13 years in the States working in and out of local search. I was heading up online for Dex Media before we sold to RH Donnelly, and then back in the early days, the internet was lucky enough to be around at the founding of MapQuest back in 1996. But for those of you who don't know European Directories, we're an 800 million local search and lead generation company, formerly known as a Yellow Pages company. But in all seriousness, the focus is very much on local search and lead generation, and that represents where we're going. But we have operations in 8 countries spanning the Scandinavians, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, Austria, Czech, Slovakia, and Poland. And I think it was Dylan was saying, well, can you give a bit of a European perspective? And the way I like to describe European Directories is almost like the United Nations of Yellow Pages and local search. Because if you ask me, are we doing something? The chances are we probably are doing it in one of our countries. My challenge is to make sure we do it in all of our countries. In terms of scale and reach, we have about 700,000 small business customers, serviced by over 2,500 sales representatives, and hopefully part of this discussion can be about monetization and the role of the directories to be the last mile to reach the small business, which is a key part of the value chain for our industry. We're majority owned by Macquarie. So I'll briefly go through some thoughts on what we're doing, monetization content. I'm not going to go into details of strategy and things like that. There just isn't time. But basically, if you want to make money, you've got to follow where the users are. So where are the users going? And everything that we talked about today is users are going to internet, they're going to mobile, they're using Google as their starting point online. They want more information when they go online. They just not only want to look for a business, but they want to look for a business that is offering a certain service, a certain product and the like. And they're looking for solutions as well. Help me book a restaurant. Help me get a plumber scheduled. And then they're also increasingly using search via verticals and social networks. And content. Content becomes absolutely critical here. It's not simply the static ad in the book. Give me coupons, give me videos, give me rich comparative and structured content. So overall, what our strategy is to generate local commercial search usage from multiple products in multiple media. So we're working across Yellow Pages products, IYP products, we're reselling SEM products, we're doing social local products across print, online, sat-nav, mobile, you name it. So it's basically a broad spectrum of products across a set of media. So as I say, I won't go into strategy, but what I'll do is give you a couple of examples of what we're working on that hopefully will stimulate some conversation. Ben brought up the very interesting point of Skype. You look at Skype users base is 481 million users across the world. So we recently announced a partnership with Skype, the first global partnership, to bring to market something called business-funded click-to-call. And the objective is to help turn online searches for businesses. Are you looking for a business on Google or on a vertical site or anywhere on the web? But how do we help turn that search for a local business into a call for a business? So it's quite interesting. The new offering for Skype, and this is important, you know, Skype has 480 million users globally, of which there are tens of millions in our countries. And those users can now, with the service we're offering, directly call from Skype to the local business. We're providing them a connection from the local business to the landline. And why this is important is because most Skype users today talk to each other, other Skype users, but they don't have access to the ability to call local landlines. So what we're doing is taking this huge, vast user base of Skype users and suddenly plugging them into local businesses. And our hope is we bring millions of basically Skype users to the small local business. Call it phone number recognition. And basically, it's using Skype phone number recognition. Skype can recognize a telephone number, and it can now recognize if that telephone number is one of our local businesses and offer a call for free button. And users don't need Skype out credit, which most don't. And so obviously for the advertisers, they get access to a huge Skype user base without changing their telephone numbers and have an opportunity to differentiate themselves from their competitors. So just to see what that means, this is quite interesting. So let's say in the Netherlands here, and this is a screenshot for looking for pizza in Amsterdam here, and this is coming up with the ever popular Google 10-pack, which seems to be very well used these days. And you'll see here that Skype has its typical phone number recognition, which highlights a telephone number here in grey. But now, this is an advertiser of ours, they get a free call button. So this one's an advertiser of ours, this one's an advertiser of ours, and so on. So it's, we think it's a great win for consumers, it's a great win for advertisers, and wherever somebody's using the latest version of Skype, and our advertiser's telephone number is on the web, we can help bring that search into a call. Ben would probably kick me off the stage unless if I gave him a shameless plug for Akesios at this stage, but Akesios' technology was actually critical to helping bring the Skype product to market in very rapid timescales. So that's one of our Skype partnerships, follow the user and then monetize the user through our Salesforce and ad products. Another quick one, we talked about verticals earlier today. We've invested in something called WorkSpot, which is a marketplace for handymen in the Netherlands. #1 site in the Netherlands with about 4,000 subscribers, free for consumers, and in 2008 we completed about 30,000 projects. So if you as a consumer want your garden cleaned or some sort of contractor's job, go on the site, type it in, contacts a series of businesses out there, and then they bid on your business. So again, another example of how the directories are moving into new types of services and can monetize it through their Salesforce. And then finally, we have launched a new social local site called Tupelo. It's basically a ratings and review site, very similar to what we saw on Kite here. Launched in Austria and the Netherlands, generating very strong traffic growth with about 200,000 monthly unique visitors. Doesn't sound impressive, but the fact that we've only been live for about a month in the Netherlands is actually pretty impressive that we've got to 200,000. Roll out to other operating companies. And again, what we have with our Salesforce is ability to monetize the usage and the traffic out there. So that's it in a nutshell. Basically, as a local search and lead generation company, we see products, media changing out there, and we need to adapt. But fundamentally, we believe we're in a very good position to actually monetize and capture usage out there.